Hello! Welcome back to another episode of Liz Explains the Movies. A cinematic adventure brought to you by boredom and dialysis, not necessarily in that order. My name is Liz. I'll be your hostess today. I'm trying to adjust my camera. It's not great. Okay. Today's movie we're going to be talking about is a movie very close to my heart. It was ranked as one of the worst movies of all time. Now, I happen to think it's hilariously funny. And I have to tell you a little story about this movie first. It's called Ishtar. It was so universally panned by critics that despite the fact that it had every kind of element for success, right? Written and directed by Mike Nichols. How does it get better than that, right? Mike Nichols, incredible, funny, very, very funny, right? Starring Warren Beatty, Charles Grodin, and Dustin Hoffman, and Isabella Adjani, okay? How can you go wrong with a movie with those two superstars, right? Written by Mike Nichols. How could that movie ever bomb? They spent a lot of money making it. It's going to be a colossal hit. It was a comedy, right? No. People did not like this movie. People did not like this movie. However, I liked this movie. And my husband liked this movie. And it's a very funny story because my husband, when we first met each other, I don't know how long Ishtar had been out, but here we started talking and conversing with each other and getting to know each other, and I realized that this guy loved the movie Ishtar. And I also loved the movie Ishtar, and I thought no one ever even heard of this horrible movie. In fact, it was so horrible that there was this movie that Kevin Costner made about, like, I don't know what it was called. It was something like Under the Sea or something. I don't know. But it was so bad they called it Fishtar. Right? So this movie was universally panned by so many people. And I thought it was hysterical. I thought this movie was hilarious. And this movie is about... I'll get to the thing with my husband in a minute. But this movie is about two guys who have a dream. They want to be songwriters. The only problem is they don't want to be singers. They do sing and they play the piano and they do all this, but they don't want to be singers. They want to be songwriters. They want to write a hit song. Like, I don't know, a hit song, Marvin Hamlish, I don't know. The songs they write are absolutely terrible. They're about lawnmowers. They have one song called Dangerous Business. It goes like this. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. If you admit that you can play the accordion, no one will hire you for a rock and roll band. Do I need to sing more? Really, they're horrible, horrible songs. Horrible. They're so bad, they're hilariously funny, right? When I met Bill Chapin, my husband, when I met Bill, I knew every single word to every song. I could sing every song from that movie. And so could he. And he said, I have never met anyone who A, loves that movie, and B, knows all the songs. It's like... And that's just been, like, we've been married 27 years, and that's just been, like, a thing ever since then. You know, we'll say, we didn't need a pencil. We're always constantly reciting lines from this movie. Oh my God. It's the stupidest, most amazing movie. It's kind of a caper, I guess. So Dustin Hoffman fancies himself a tough guy, and he calls himself by the nickname Hawk. but his name is Chuck Clark. And then he has a friend that he meets named Warren Beatty, and that's Lyle. Can't remember Lyle's last name. But anyway, Chuck and Lyle, they're songwriters, and they're trying to make it in show business. And they sit around and now Chuck moved to New York City, or Lyle did. Chuck's from New York. Lyle, Warren Beatty, moved to New York City to become a songwriter. He came from the South, so he's kind of a dope. He's like 6'4". He's really, really nerdy. If you can imagine Warren Beatty looking like a complete doofus, right? And then Dustin Hoffman, it's not such a far stretch, but even then, he has such a presence on screen that you go, really? Is this Dustin Hoffman? It's like very funny. So they're both on the screen, and they're both songwriters, and they meet each other in a restaurant. Now here's why they meet each other. This is so weird. They're both having dinner with their girlfriends. Lyle is married to his wife, Willa. Her name is Willa. She's from the South also. She moved up to New York with them, like, okay, this is going to be our new life, and then it's just not working out. He works as an ice cream man. He's constantly writing songs. He won't go to his jobs. Chuck, on the other hand, I don't know what Chuck does for a living, but so anyway, he has a girlfriend named, I can't remember. But anyway, they go out to dinner at this Italian restaurant. Now Chuck, they have dinner for free with Chuck because he's the piano player for the restaurant. And so he is entertaining the people while they eat dinner. And his girlfriend is just like watching and eating dinner too. Okay, and then Lyle and his wife, Willa, happen to be at the same restaurant. And so Chuck says, because he's been playing at this restaurant a long time, he goes, a couple years ago, a couple came in, they said it was their 28th wedding anniversary. Mr. and Mrs. Charles Thermopolis. And I said if they came back next year, and then they came back again. And then I said if they came back next year for their 30th anniversary, I would have a song written for them. And so here it is. And this is a song. And so he plays this horrible song. And these old people are sitting, I don't know, it's like their 40th, 50th wedding anniversary, I don't know. And their family's all sitting there, and they're all dressed up, and they're at this Italian restaurant and this table, and they're all like dressed up, and he plays this song. I promise I'd love you forever, a promise I'm planning to keep. You'll be well taken care of after I'm gone, off to the land of the big sleep. 'Cause I'm leaving some love in my will. Yes, I'm leaving some love in my... Your life is nearly over, and time goes by so fast. I want to give you something to remind you of the past. It's the worst song ever, and the family's looking at him like, seriously? This is a song you wrote for us? So anyway, they hate the song. He almost gets fired from the restaurant. And then Lyle's in the restaurant, and he sends him a note at his table. And he says, and he's talking to his girlfriend Carol. She wants to move in with Chuck. And he goes, if I just move in with you, it'll be great. And he's like, yeah, I'm a loner. I gotta be free. I'm a free agent. I gotta be on my own. I can't be encumbered by a woman, Like, that's the only nibble, I don't think. But anyway. So, anyway, Lyle sends Chuck and his girlfriend a note at the table. Has the waiter deliver it. I liked your song. I'm a songwriter too. Let's get together and write songs. So they do that. They get together at that restaurant and they start, and then that's it. They're inseparable from that point on. They're best friends, Lyle and Chuck. So then they said, we need an agent. So then they get this agent named Marty Freed, and we're never going to get success as a songwriter and the agent is hilarious. And they're almost giving up hope. Yeah, they have all these gigs, and the agent tells them, listen, let me tell you what I told Tony Bennett. Play songs people already know. That way, if they boo, they still have something to, sing. Anyway, so they get this agent, and they're about to give up on the agent. They're about to give up on everything. And the agent says, look, I think I can get you a booking. There's 2 bookings available. One is in Honduras. It's only for a week. It pays $75. The last act quit because they were scared of the death squads. But there's no danger if you stay out of the countryside. And they're like, Honduras, great. The other one is in Marrakesh, Morocco. And that one is 9 weeks. And it pays $95 a month, or week. And blah, blah, blah. And so then they decide to go to Morocco. And that's their gig, and they're going to sing at this hotel, in the Hotel Marrakesh or whatever. They're going to sing at this hotel, and they're going to take their act to, like, get it famous. But then something happens at the airport. Something happens. They meet this girl. She's an underworld spy. She's, like, double dealing both of them. Then they meet the CIA agent played by Charles Grodin, which is hilarious. And all this crazy stuff. At one point, she tells Lyle, meet me at the Shalibenimala market and ask for a man named Mohammed and tell him you want to buy a blind camel. And the next day he does that. Lyle does that. He doesn't tell Chuck, but next day he does that. And he ends up with a blind camel. These guys are idiots. And so then they're walking with this blind camel through it's like, I'm not describing it very well. I'm not explaining it very well. But it's a hilarious movie. I'm going to put a video link so you can see the trailer in the description down below. So look at that when you get a chance, and I hope you guys actually watch it. It's a very, very, very funny movie. There are so many funny lines in this movie. I mean, it's just, it's long, but it goes on and on and on. I don't want to tell any spoilers, but I don't want to tell the spoilers, but the ending is incredible. It's very funny. And I hope that you guys watch it. It's a little dated. It's a lot dated. It goes on and on. I can't believe that it wasn't a giant hit. Mike Nichols, I mean, the lines in it are very, very funny. Elaine May, Mike Nichols, and then, of course, starring Dustin Hoffman. And the incredible part about this movie, who can make Warren Beatty look bad? But then you put like a barn jacket on him, and you make him walk like a doofus and some weird shoes and a weird hat, and pretty soon he's not Warren Beatty anymore. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's just, anyway, I think you should go watch the movie Ishtar. The other thing I was thinking is I started to rewatch this TV show from the 70s called Mary Tyler Moore. So, Mary Tyler Moore, she is a single girl who moved to Minneapolis, and I'm going to go over the first episode. So, she moves to Minneapolis, and she breaks up with her fiancé because he won't marry her. He's just holding off. He's a doctor, and she was with him through medical school and internship and all this stuff. And then he decides he doesn't want to marry her, so she's like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm going to move to Minneapolis on my own. And so she does that, and then she gets a job at a TV station. She moves into an apartment. Her neighbor is Rhoda. Her landlord is Phyllis. Her landlord's apartment manager is Phyllis, her friend, who's her cousin. And she goes to work at WJM, which is this TV station, and they hire her as an associate producer. She works for Mr. Grant, who's played by, oh my God, Lou Grant. Who the hell is, oh my God, I can't remember their names. But anyway, There's Murray Slaughter. He's played by the guy who was Gavin McLeod on The Love Boat. There's Ted, the goofy sports anchor. He's hilarious. There's Rhoda. There's, yeah. So it is a great show. The first episode I just watched, the very first episode, she goes for her job interview with Mr. Grant. It's hilarious because he asks her all these questions, and she's very, very prissy, and he's like this drinker guy. And anyway, she gets hired, and, you know, her fiance comes back. And he says, you know, let's really, you know, I know I get you moved away, and you wanted to send me a message by moving away. Okay, but I get it now, and why don't you come back to where we had lived before? And she's like, yeah, I don't think so. I like my life here. And so she's now the single girl. And she turned that guy down. And that's pretty amazing. She put an M up on her wall. And her theme song is, you know, you're going to make it after all. And I don't know, I think you should check out this show. It's a really sweet, it's very 70s, but it's a very sweet, funny show. Some of the best writing ever on television. It went for like, I don't know how many seasons. They're about a half an hour long. I would start watching it. I think you can see them. You can see old Mary Tyler Moore reruns, I think on YouTube. I don't know where, but I'll put some I'll put some on there too. Maybe I'll show you. I'll put a link to the first episode if I can find it in the description also. And I hope you enjoyed this crazy episode of Liz Explains the Movies. I'm still sort of working on how I'm going to do this, but I'm hoping to find some entertainment for home hemodialysis patients, because maybe there are some movies that you haven't heard of that are very, very amusing and entertaining, and will kill some of the boredom that we all face here on the machine. It's very boring, right? I mean, it's, you know, I mean, how exciting is this? I do have a shirt on, it just the thing drags it down. Anyway, you know, you have to sit here 4 hours a day, 4 times a week. That's a long time. How many times can you, like, you know, work on your planner or do these little crafts, or, you know, you just gotta, I don't know. So I'm trying to introduce movies that will be fun for you to watch, that you should, and they're ones that are revisited. You know, they're like movies from a long time ago that everyone forgot about, and they're hilarious or really, really good. And, you know, it's worth looking, it's worth checking out. You don't like the movie? Then don't watch it. But, then I'll come up with the next one the next day. But I hope you enjoyed Best in Show yesterday. I did that one yesterday. And today is Ishtar and the first episode of Mary Tyler Moore. So, I hope to see you on the next episode. Be sure to like and subscribe. And thanks for joining me today. And check out the description below.